Americans are behind on rent payments. It's safe to say that those who can still find a way to pay for the roof over their heads are fortunate among the vast majority of underprivileged people. Eviction moratoriums have expired, which means now there's no legislation protecting people from being kicked out of their homes. 15% of all Americans are affected by this because there's no federal eviction moratorium in place. The new figures were part of Census Bureau study that surveyed 1,027,815 households. Bloomberg reported that 3.5 million of those households were considering whether or not to pack up and leave their rented property because rents are becoming so expensive. A lot of people where I live work really hard and still can't afford a decent place to stay. Most work in the service industry and are situated in major cities like NYC, where the cost of living has skyrocketed. About 6 million households report that they could no longer afford their rent because they increased it too much. We've just come off the back of one of the worst years for inflation in decades, so it's no surprise we've seen a significant increase in people struggling to make ends meet. Even if that doesn't sound like a lot to some, many people already had maxed out credit cards and/or been financially drained by debt. As wages fail to keep up with inflation, consumer experts are saying that prices at the state level are becoming unaffordable, and this is the leading cause of evictions. Remember to like and subscribe for more of this content. Evictions are way higher than before the pandemic. In March, filings were up by 80%. In May, they rose by 47%. Meanwhile, mortgage applications dropped by 21% last month. The guys in the Princeton University Eviction Lab reckon these numbers will keep rising. The chief economist at Moody's Analytics, Mark Andy, is warning the U.S. housing market is on the verge of a coast-to-coast price crash. He says that his firm expects home prices to sink dramatically in key competitive markets that are overvalued. And Larry Bott tells me, the senior real estate advisor at Solomon Partners, that the housing market crash is inevitable and has already started to happen. The average home buyer cannot afford to pay as much as they used to. According to a recent CoreLogic analysis, 45 of the 392 areas it tracks have a greater than 50% chance of seeing home prices fall in the coming years. It's a 73% increase from the last month when only 26 markets were in that category. The probability of a price decline has intensified recently as mortgage rates continue to rise and people's confidence has been shaken by high inflation. More than 50% of markets have been shown to have a declining price, and Selma Hepp from CoreLogic says affordability is at its lowest in years. A lot of Americans are saying now isn't a good time to buy a home because more people believe the market is bad. The sentiment index from Fannie says that percentage of people who think this is a good time to purchase a home has fallen to 17%. According to recent polling, about 3 in 4 people believe that now is a bad time for homebuyers. The two key elements required to perpetuate housing bubble growth are overvaluation and speculation. However, home price growth can't outrun income forever. When the supply of homes decreases and the demand persists, prices are forced to rise. Higher rates and a system in which more Americans cannot afford to buy property cause this trend. In 2021, we're on course for another boom, and given that the cost of property has already started to drop, it looks like this time around it will end with a similar bust.